Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here on a dreary Wednesday morning. Lots of rain all day here in Ontario, Canada, which if you're a new listener is where we live and where the show is coming from. And there'll be no golf here on Wednesday here in our area. And there's going to be barely any really good golf happening over the next 4 days at the British Open in Ireland. They are getting rain every single day. Coolish kind of summer temperatures anyway, cooler than we're used to in the 60s. The morning rounds, oh my God, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, whatever, when they're getting out. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be, British Open weather of the past, too. This is not new. However, it does really make it difficult when you're trying to pick who you think might win the tournament because weather's going to mean so much to that. So we have done that as we're going to talk about our, we actually have 3 favorites today and 2 long shots, and we're suggesting anybody playing the tournament and wagering on it, look for some long shots you think might play well in the bad weather or might get this is the interesting thing about the British Open. Half the day is not bad, and then half the day is horrible. So that's part of what you and I did this morning. We had sort of our original picks. We went back and looked at tee times and changed a bunch of guys in there. So that's what we've looked at weather-wise. Morning on Thursday is supposed to be nasty. Afternoon on Friday is supposed to be nasty. And if you follow Thursday, Friday PGA Tour, what you need to know, the guys who play in the morning Thursday, playing in the afternoon Friday, they're all screwed. I mean, the weather could change over there, but based on the forecast, that one grouping is getting screwed on both days. It's amazing that that's happened. We've seen this happen before. Here's what that does, though. If you do wager on a site that allows you to have some of those specialty wagers, there's one where you can wager on guys who are going to miss the cut. And we think there's some pre-tournament favorites that are actually going to fit into that. So we're going to talk about that as well on the show today. But we're going to get into our picks right now and give you the reasons why we think. One thing you can be sure of right now, all of the picks are Thursday afternoon, Friday morning players. Mm-hmm. So we are going on the weather. And like I said over there, it can change, and that's why go for some long shots when you're trying to. This is a week where you might get some big long shot win the British Open. However, typically great golfers play better in bad weather. That's why they're great. And so you're not likely to find a pop-up guy, but you could. But we're picking some guys that have done well in the British Open in the past in bad weather, and guys who have started around into form. So we're hoping we get you some selections that might be there. We've been very successful. Mm-hmm. I think the last week, because it was 2 minor events, we weren't at our best. But in all the majors, we've been there. All our guys have been right on the board, and we've had a couple winners out of that. So hopefully we can provide that for you in this particular major as well. So, Joey, why don't you go with your picks first?
Yeah, first off, we do have a new product that we're promoting called benshot.com. Go to our website, check out the link. Very cool shot glasses, beer glasses, and mugs. With very cool design with the golf ball going into it and the bullet going into it and stuff like that. So check it out on our website. Make sure you see that product. Get 10% off by using our link. So it might be a great gift for a birthday, Father's Day, bachelor party, wedding, something along those lines.
Yeah, they're really cool stuff. And I do want to mention just before we got into golf that you save 10% with our link, as Joey said. So we're going to put it on the ultimatesportschannel.com. You need to be going there for everything as well. We've mentioned lately we have a complete sports news feed on there, so you can go there and get all your sports in the morning. You can see all our links. We're going to put all our sponsors on our links. So you see one page on there, just one page you need to go to, shows you where you can watch us, where you can listen to us, and all of our sponsors. Just go one place. And usually we try and negotiate a percentage discount for you on anybody that's supporting the show. So do that for our new sponsor. You'll see that. I'll have it up this morning. So by later on this afternoon, you'll be able to see the link there. So anyway, let's get to the golf. And what are you doing player-wise for your group?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth. This is going to be my first pick. I think despite the year he's had, the British Open seems to be an event where he can manage his way around golf courses and be in contention. It's a place to play where you don't have to be on your game actually that much because of the winds and the tough conditions. Really, you're hitting so many wild shots anyways, low, high, left, right. That it just takes imagination at this point. It might actually help him, honestly, to free him up that, it's not going to be perfect golf. It's not going to be hitting the fairway, hit it tight and make birdies. It's going to be kind of scrambly. It's going to be kind of all over the place. And I think his game and his imaginativity can easily come out and help him get a W. He already has a British Open. He was tied for the lead of the British Open through 36 holes. So he has that type of game where if he can really let loose and let his brain take over and use his imagination, he can come up with shots and really create a lot of good opportunities for himself. I also just don't think it'll be that low of scoring. So I think that all benefits him.
It does, and I agree with you 100%. The other thing is, it hasn't been really his short game. It's been the driver that's really cost him. And they usually have the fairways pretty wide. I haven't looked hole by hole on this.
Well,
particular
I don't
tournament,
even know. Like with wind, with wind,
so tough.
yeah, with wind and rain though, even the fairways, it that doesn't come down to hitting drivers in this type of wind. I mean, honestly, a lot of times your 3-iron that you can hit like a low bullet can go farther than your driver. So I just think it just gives him more options, and it just allows him to play kind of not technical, which seems to be his issue with everything. Even though his short game has been good, everything goes wrong when it comes to technical stuff with him. He needs to be free. This allows you to do that because you cannot simply just hit basic shots in this type of weather and wind. You got to hit cuts, you got to hit draws, you got to hit low, high. He can easily not put the driver in play off the tee. So I think it's just something that he can get around. With a great short game at the Open, obviously helps too with their funky greens and their pop bunkers. Can easily help as well. And also slow greens can kind of help a guy with his irons because they're not going to spin off the green. You got to remember, when you play faster greens, your irons have to be that much better because of spin and speed and hills and
they're going to be soft. They're going to hit
soft.
Stick.
They're going to be windy. They're going to be slow. So it'll allow them to really just kind of put it anywhere on the green. It will hold the green, and then he can putt from there. So, and he's won there. He grew up in Texas. It's similar, not as cold in Texas, but the wind is very much up his alley.
But you made a great point. Every event you've heard him at now, he's bitching about, I don't know why I did this. I can't believe I did that. At least now with the weather, one thing it does is they're going to have to talk more about how to hit a shot. And afterwards, how to hit the next shot rather than bitching about the shot that just hit. I think it's going to help him mentally, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I think mentally, I mean, he might actually feel like almost in relief that the weather's not good. Yeah. Because when the weather's good, like I said, it's too easy for too many guys to have their swing going for them. The British Open causes guys, like I always say, Rory is like kind of like one swing as far as I'm concerned, and he bounds it in. Yeah. But anytime the weather's bad, he doesn't have 8 different shots, which is why he wins mostly in America and he likes it over there. Or when he plays in Europe, it has to be good weather. Yeah. People don't remember the British Open he did win was very, very good weather, and he destroyed the golf course. So that's not this week. So I feel like Spieth's actually probably feeling like a bit of relief that he doesn't have to play that good, because with wind and rain, it's more about scrambling. Yeah. It's more about just keeping it in play. And he can easily play that game better than if it was perfect weather. Rory and DJ and these guys have way better advantages.
When you've been a winter over there, it helps as well.
For sure. So I'm going with Tyrrell Hatton, which is a European Englishman. You've probably heard of him. He's been on the PGA Tour now for a little bit. Known for his temper tantrums. I just love him. He's known for one time he broke his putter, couldn't get another putter, so he bought one for $100 and shot 62. He's a great ball striker, though, and he's obviously from Europe. Yeah. An Englishman. I think his time is coming. He's up there a lot. You hear his name quite often, but it's the ball striking for me that I think he can easily use to his advantage. The use of conditions he can use to his advantage. Very accurate off the tee. I feel like, his downfall will be temper, because in bad weather, the worst thing is temper, because you got to be so patient, because stuff is just not going to work for you.
You're mentioning that, but that often helps along the same lines as Spieth, right? There's less to be angry about because it's not perfect conditions.
You might just go, whatever, it's not my fault.
You're already expecting that there's going to be some bad stuff, which I think helps guys. When you play in perfect weather and you're as good as these guys are, you get mad when you're not good. Yeah. But this week's going to be more of that kind of, I just have to accept it. And I think a lot of these guys who struggle with some of that stuff will be saying to themselves this week, I just have to accept it. So
Tyrrell Hatton then would be definitely one of those guys.
But let's be clear. Let's be clear who picked this. This is not you picking. This is your grandmother.
My grandma did pick this.
Hatton. So if it wins, I'm going to let you talk about it, because you did go back and verify it at best, but your grandmother picked them.
She did. She just goes, she was talking to me about the British Open, and she just goes, who's like this Hatton guy? I really like him. I think he hits it really well. He has a chance to pick. I was like, I got to say it. I got to pick him. So I am going with Tyrrell Hatton for that reason alone. And I believe that it's going to be tough for American to win, although there's a couple Americans that actually grew up in quite windy in places like this. So, but Hatton's an Englishman. He has the shots. He might be able to deal with his anger simply from the fact that it's just horrible for everybody. Yeah. But by the way, as we've said before, all these players have these good tee times. And what I've looked at is Thursday's mostly bad pretty much the entire day. Although at 6 o'clock it is supposed to clear, 6, 7 o'clock. That's more than likely not going to go later. If anything, it should go earlier typically, meaning the weather will come sooner. So if anything, the afternoon guys should get their back 9, maybe back 6 holes in with good weather. And then Friday morning's way better until about noon. So they're going to maybe play their back 6 in bad weather on Friday, but should get 10 to 12 holes in decent weather. Right. So these are also part of the reason why Spieth and Hatton have that advantage. Patrick Cantlay is one for me. I can't believe he doesn't get enough talk. He's actually been phenomenal.
I've been picking him up.
You have
been. And I missed him this week.
You missed him this week. Everyone's missing. I think he's the darkest horse in the field for a guy who has insane amount of top tens this year and a win. Arguably the most consistent golfer on tour right now, and he closed only one of them, which is a little concerning because you think of winning a major.
Yeah.
But someone who's that consistent needs dominoes just to fall his way, and in this type of tournament, it's easy for him just to be around the lead, and then the leader make a big mistake. He is very consistent. He's a good player. I think he could be a dark horse this week for a top 10.
I think it's a good pick because, he's another one of these guys very hard on himself. So when it's not going well, when he expects it to go well, he struggles with his positive thinking. I think everybody's going to break this week because it's going to be tough, and I think it's going to help all these guys that struggle that way.
He's someone I think might embrace it pretty well. Like, Spieth's going to embrace it. Hatton's going to embrace it. Rory's not going to embrace it, but these guys will embrace it. I think Cantlay will embrace it. He's a great putter, too. Yeah. So, with the tough conditions, obviously a lot of 10-footers for par on slow greens. You need someone who can handle that. I think he's one of those guys. I'm going to go with Tommy Fleetwood. Obviously, maybe the most consistent and kind of talked about European the last couple of years. Obviously, he's been very, very good in the majors, also in big events. He's not a closer, which is my only concern. Again, I go back to the weather and kind of that he's going to have that advantage, so he should be able to eliminate half the field, which is always important. You eliminate half the field from just how tough the weather would be compared to you and their mentality. So half the field's gone. He's one of these guys, obviously played a lot of golf over there. He's won a bunch of times in Europe. Has been very consistent since being on the PGA Tour. Has a chance to win big events. Hasn't closed. This may be his time. He might get a breakthrough again. This is one of those tournaments where you win it by not doing anything special to win it. It's just by hanging in there and having someone else mess up. So it's one of those events with weather and wind. Again, someone who's consistent and is always there. Well, you might just get that break of someone trying to do a little too extra or not handling it as well.
Well, he's a birdie master.
Oh my God, this guy is maybe one of the best iron players on tour.
He gets 7 or 8 holes in good weather. He can get 7 birdies.
But he's
that kind of guy, right?
And he can really control his golf ball. Like, he can really flight it. He can flight it low, high. He has the shots. He grew up over there. So he really can control his golf ball. If he does that this week, his putter's definitely good enough to get him across the finish line. He might need a break or two, but who doesn't when they win tournaments, right?
For sure.
So Fleetwood's got to be a consideration. My last pick is Louis Oosthuizen, who arguably is one of the most consistent major players I've ever seen. First of all, I thought he had 2 wins. He has 1 win. He has the Masters. But he has seconds in all of the events.
The Grand Slam of seconds.
The Grand Slam of seconds, which is just crazy. It's awesome to see. He's that good, though. Oh my God, I don't think he won the Masters. He won the British. Oh my God, I'm blanking. It might have been the British Open he won, not the Masters. But anyways, regardless, I know he has the seconds in all the majors. He was even there again in the majors this year, and he just finds a way to play. He's one of those guys that doesn't play a lot. He's kind of like a Brooks, except not at the winning rate Brooks is at. But he's a Brooks as far as he really only peaks for the majors. He really just kind of hangs around in these regular events, making cuts. Doesn't do any media, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that, but he had a lot easier Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Because he's not consistently there, he does not have to do a ton of media. But he has been second in every single major. He is there all of the time. He's lost in a couple heartbreak playoffs. One of them was a 3-man playoff at St. Andrews. One of them was a playoff at the Masters. He lost to Bubba Watson's hook shot in the trees.
Oh, right, yeah.
So,
bad luck.
Bad luck, man. And in the 3-hole playoff,
he better win.
Zach Johnson made an absolute bomb from 40 feet to even get in it. So he has had bad luck, but he has been there every time, and he is very consistent. And it is the British Open he's won. He's won the British Open before, so he could go for a second British Open here. When you've won one and have a playoff, and you're second all the majors,
played a lot of events over there,
and you're not European, but you're South African. I just think it's a good fit for him. Louis Oosthuizen, very consistent, simple golf game. Shouldn't get in too much trouble here. My only concern is what happens with his short game the odd time, but he's just so consistent when it comes to majors. I think he's a dark horse in this field as well.
And I think experience counts for a lot in this kind of weather. I think that always happens. So anyway, we're going to go on to mine, and I'm going to have you tell me, Joe, because we went back and forth so many times this morning with the weather. I can't even remember who I finalized. I know I finalized on Kuchar.
Kuchar is his favorite.
Is my favorite pick here. You're going to need to be in the fairway, and the fairways are probably going to be more generous than they even are normally. Usually for majors are really tight. Kuchar's really great at even hitting those. You're going to have to stay out of the fescue this week. You're going to play through the rain. I think he's got the kind of game to make that happen. He's shown that in the past. He's won twice this year, and he's been knocking on the door again. So, and he's a little bit past all the crap. They did an article with him a couple weeks ago about all the crap that's happened to him this year. So I think he's past all that now. And so I think he can win again. So Kuchar's my number one pick here. Had a great round. He didn't back it up in the Scottish Open or the Irish Open. I can't remember what it was. Played all right, but he was like in the lead after the first round. That shows you that he can play over there no problem. So I've got Kuchar as my number one pick this week. And who did I land on number two?
You had DJ.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so DJ's been kind of lost in all of our conversation all year. He's only number two in the world, I think, now. I think this is the kind of golf week that DJ can play well, and he hits the driver far, he hits it straight. He should be in the fairway most of the time. I think he'll either be last or first. That could be the only challenge. If the driver's not working, he's going to be in trouble. But if the driver's working, I think slow greens will help his putting. There's a lot less break to read on slow greens. It's much more straight in the hole. I think that'll help his decision making on reads and hitting better putts, so I think that's going to be an advantage. He's also been close in the British Open before. I think he can make it this time. So I'm going with DJ. I think he's just been ignored too much this year. It's time for him to step up, win another major, and I'm picking him to do that. Number three pick is Brooks Koepka, and why not? I mean, the guy hits in the fairway everywhere he goes, so you got to assume he's going to hit the fairway this week. He has a kind of ball flight that the wind shouldn't impact like others. I suspect he'll be drilling it right down the middle like he always does.
He started in Europe.
Yeah, and that's where he made his career. You're right, on the European Tour, even on their smaller tours. So he played everywhere over there on every wind, every conditions, weather-wise.
Although it's never been to Ireland, ironically, but yeah, it's similar weather.
Golf fits in there. Yeah, it's similar UK. Golf course, similar weather. He's a putting genius, so the easier the read, you got to assume that he's going to be putting great this week. So that's another pick, not surprisingly. It's not like I'm picking a long shot there. But I do have a couple of long shots that I think have got real opportunities this week because of weather and their positioning on Thursday and Friday.
Well, you went with Justin Thomas.
I went with Justin Thomas.
A favorite, not favorite.
He would have been a favorite until the injury, for sure. But he is rounding into form. He had a pretty good week leading into this and tournament over there where he went over to get ready. That was encouraging to see that sign, to see him play that well. And I think this is a shot. I think he's getting better every week. I think his injury is going to be obviously better every week. The key for him, though, it was a wrist injury. He has to be in the fairway, and that's going to be the only problem.
I wanted to mention, I didn't talk about it.
Tall fescue is going to be tough.
And wet now.
Yeah, and wet fescue.
And cold. So you're cold, the grass is wet, and soft, so it's going to dig and plug a lot, so your ball is going to bury in this fescue. It could be bad for wrist injury.
And that's the challenge he's going to face. But if he can keep it in the fairway, I think he's got a great shot to come back. He's a tremendous golfer. We also need him to come back. He was a star. I mean, it's kind of disappeared here for a number of months, but he's a star on the PGA Tour. And since Spieth has kind of gone off the map too, we need these two guys to get going again. I think they're both rounding into form, and we both picked them this week.
Yeah, and lastly, you had Ches Reavie.
Yeah, Ches Reavie. If you watched our previous shows, we have kind of a funny connection with Ches Reavie that it was like 11 years ago, I think, or 12 years ago. You were 10 years old.
Open, yeah.
And at the Canadian Open, Joey told me he was going to win when he gave him a golf ball. He went on the way to Canadian Open. He waited 11 more years to win his next event. But he's been playing well all season. I mean, really playing well all season.
Open, by the way.
And has won again this year, which is great to see. I think he's got the kind of game, again, it's not the longest hitter in the world, but in the fairway. And I think that's what you're going to need this week. So he's my super long shot.
Now I'll tell you,
big odds
there is some distance that's going to be needed this week. I think a little bit, but obviously accuracy is going to be important with the wet rough.
Some holes.
Here's not a long shot. I'm not really picking. I want to tell you the story because I always believe sometimes stories can make it out. And it's Graham McDowell, really. Graham McDowell, we actually had him as a long shot pick. The weather, his tee time's early Thursday, late Friday, probably won't help him unless that changes on us. But the story is, he grew up there. Now, first of all, there's another story too. Rory grew up there, has the course record, but it's not even as important as this. So Graham McDowell grew up there, obviously, worked there, played there, blah, blah, blah. As we know, Graham McDowell made the PGA Tour, won the US Open. Last couple years, let's be honest, fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
It goes to Royal Portrush for the first time ever going to Ireland. His home course, his brother still works there as the maintenance dude.
Yeah.
And after all these years of bad golf, what does it do? It sparks McDowell on the inside. And for the first time in like 2 or 3 years, he qualifies without having to go into open qualifying. He has had a great season so far. He earned his spot in the Open Championship at his home course with his brother going to be working there. And the reason why I bring this up is if he's in the top 10 or even wins the goddamn thing, you're going to remember that there was a story and you forgot to take it because of it. Because these stories happen all the time with athletes. In
sports, for sure.
Because of the inspiration he'll get. And I'm sure it can either go one or two ways for him, really. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of pressure, maybe even partly emotional because he was kind of out of it for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
He'll either play so well, you'll see him there on Sunday, or kind of miss the cut. But we'll see going forward. But that is a story that if you see him in the top 10 or even winning, don't be surprised. You know, these stories happen all the time. He had to work hard to even get there this year.
Yeah, and unfortunate weather, I think, is going to play
into
it, unfortunately. I think he was ready to play well. Maybe the weather will turn. We're going to hope for that for some of these guys, Rory being another one. We do have a pick, though, that we think has got great opportunities. That's guys that are going to miss the cut.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a number of guys we think are going to miss the cut because of the weather as much as anything else. Rory on the top of that list, and Rory is less about weather as it is, he just doesn't like playing this weather. So
he's not happy.
For a guy who grew up there, he always says, I don't like bad weather. Yeah. So he's got a negative attitude going to this tournament.
In his defense, he said he moved to Florida when he was like 14 or 15 years old. So he's not but he's just not nostalgic. I mean, it's funny. I said to you, man, how does he hate his hometown weather? And then I realized I hate my hometown weather.
Exactly.
Like, I would rather be in Florida too. So he doesn't like the weather, and the weather's not gonna be good. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be rainy. It's gonna be windy.
Yeah.
It's not Rory's deal. It's not what he wants. It's not what he likes. Honestly, more importantly, he doesn't like it because it doesn't really fit his game. Because he has he has maybe two types of shots, and then he just swings full out.
And he doesn't back off that swing. So he's gonna be here's what you want to look for. The guy who's in the fescue the most this week, I think, is going to be Rory.
I don't even know if he'll be in the fescue. I don't think he doesn't have the low bullets. He doesn't have the 3/4 shots. Like, he has kind of like one level.
He's got bombs
and
all the time.
It's so great, but when it's this type of, that's why he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Because he has to change his game and he doesn't want to do it. I don't think he'll do it this week. I think he misses the cut. He's 6-1 to miss the cut. We are all over that bet. I think Rory misses the cut for sure. I don't think mentally he'll be in it. I don't think his tee time helps him at all. And also, I just don't think his game fits European golf. It fits the traditional American golf.
Yeah.
Hit it far, hit it straight, need 1 or 2 shots to win tournaments. In Britain, you need like 8 different shots just to chip around these greens because they're so weird. So
and the guy who we're kind of shocked by but has all the shots but has already told us in the press is not ready for this week is Tiger Woods. We also think Tiger's missed the cut.
Tiger again is 3-4 to 1. Tiger should miss the cut. I predict he'll miss the cut. Anytime Tiger tells me his game's not ready, it gives me zero faith that he'll be able to find it. Especially
in fact, Tiger's a Vegas guy. He's as much as warning the bettors. Don't pick.
Honestly, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, I like guys who are telling you.
Because if he came into the presser and was like, I feel really good, and we'll see how it goes during the turn, but I think I'll figure it out because I'm Tiger Woods. He would have bet him like crazy, but he had to do this, and I think he's even tossed it in.
Yeah.
I don't feel like. First of all, he's 43.
Yeah, he got his major win already.
It's gonna be 61 degrees, guys.
And he lives in Florida.
That is cold for anybody. And for a Floridian,
and with rain and
that is freezing. And at 43 years old, your body tightens real fast. He will not be able to stay loose. His game is already not ready, and he can't stay loose, and the weather's bad. He got the good luck of the draw. I don't know how much that will help him. But I think he'll miss the cut for sure. When Tiger says he doesn't feel ready, he's not ready.
I think Tiger's going to try and break Jack's record on the Masters every year.
It's the one course he knows he can easily.
And he knows he's got the game. He gets a lot of rest going into it the whole off season. I think the schedule's hurt him with the back-to-back majors. He's not ready. He hasn't played enough to be ready. I think there's some sneaky little injuries in there that he's resting all the time.
He's tight. His body's not right. No. He looks tight. He said he feels tight. The cold weather's not going to help him. I think the only way you see him trying at U.S. Opens and British Opens is if he doesn't have good Masters.
Yeah.
He might commit to one of these events, but I agree with you. I think he thinks the Masters is one course that doesn't change every year. He can build for that and try to break records that way. This British Open is not going to help him. It's just, and arguably, I think he misses a cut. He goes home, no big deal. Might have a good FedEx Cup. He's going to have a couple weeks off probably and go from there. But he hasn't played enough, and not only not played enough, the 2 weeks he normally puts in before majors would make him feel electric and 100% ready, and he's still saying in his interviews it's just not quite there.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I don't think he's going to be very good.
The other story of the majors, and it is Justin Rose. I mean, I just don't get it. He's complaining about the schedule now. Like, he's going in there with a negative attitude as well. That they're tired because this is 4 months in a row. They go bang, bang, bang with the majors, and yeah, he was going on and on forever. I'm not going to cover it all. So I throw Rose out as well. He's not mentally ready to play this week, and is complaining about how the major schedule set up and all this kind of stuff. I never like to hear negative attitude going into a round of golf. I don't care if it's not about the course; it's about something else. It just has your head on something else. I think Rozo's going to suffer.
I think Rose's going to suffer too, because I think you're right. I think there's probably an injury that we don't know, and that's why he brings this up. And he goes, "Well, it's too close together." Like, all of a sudden bring that up. I think his game's either not good or his body's not right, because that's why he brings stuff like that up.
You want to give yourself an excuse.
You want to, you want to let you know that it's already not right. So now, sometimes that frees guys up, believe it or not, and they actually go play really, really well. We'll see. But, that's not a right mindset. But the other guys we thought will miss, we think Phil will miss.
Yeah.
No way he drives it straight enough. Bubba will miss. He hates the British Open. Webb Simpson, we said would miss only because of his tee time. He might be one of the few that sneak in on the cut, even with bad timing, because he's an underrated player.
Yeah.
He's
pretty good ball striker.
And actually kind of low ball striking and very straight ball striker, which in the British Open can value really well. Sergio, no-brainer in my mind, missing the cut. Talk about bad personalities. There's one for you. Xander Schauffele, I begrudgingly did this because of his time, but I don't know, man. He can play. Although he has not been very good lately. We haven't heard his name up there a ton. He was maybe the PGA. No, PGA wasn't even up there. The Masters wasn't even really up there. He's really struggled. What's funny is that Riviera, now this is a long time ago, but still, he lost like 20 pounds to the flu, and he just hasn't been able to seem to get it back.
Exactly what
he did have a decent Masters. Actually, I remember
one of them. Yeah,
he had a decent Masters, but he hasn't really been good since. Actually, hasn't even played a lot. So because of the tee time, he'd either barely make the cut probably, or he'll miss.
Yeah.
We have him. He's great odds though. So if you're not a Schauffele fan, then that's a go-to for sure at 4.5 to 1. Ian Poulter. We have him begrudgingly missing the cut.
I had him maybe winning.
You had him maybe winning. The tee time sucks. Now, I'll give him, he probably has a great attitude.
Well,
he always has a great attitude, but he also loves this stuff. Like, he loves kind of the weirdness of Europe golf. That's why he's great at the Ryder Cup. I truly believe he's into it. He's just kind of into anything that actually is tougher. Like, I think he's a crazy man like that. Like, he'll probably make jokes about drinking throughout the round to get through. Like, I feel like he might be able to battle the weather with a great mental game, because I feel like he will not be bothered by this. He grew up in England. He loves Europe. And we've actually been close to him at the Canadian Open. He's actually a really great guy and really bright personality. So he might be able to do something.
I think you're right. He'll have the right attitude. I just think it's going to be so tough to play golf at that time.
And it's not even Thursday, by the way. If you turn on Thursday and go, what were these guys talking about? It's this Friday afternoon that I'm really worried about. Because the morning of Friday is sunshine. So it's Thursday's kind of a lot of rain, but then sunshine at 6 o'clock. That can easily move, so I'm banking on that a little bit. Maybe even an hour, so that they get sunshine at 5 o'clock, which would really help the afternoon guys. Because they tee off, by the way, very, very late over there, because they said they can play virtually till like 10 o'clock at night.
And they want to get more viewers in the States, so they want to start as late as possible.
So there's that, but the biggest thing, man, is Friday afternoon is nasty, and Friday morning, at least for 9 holes, is very, very good. Still wind, but simply no rain in the forecast for Friday morning. So that's where like a late 9 holes on Thursday, an early 9 holes on Friday can make the difference between the morning tee times and the afternoon tee times, and guys who make the cut and don't make the cut. And that's a big, that's 18 holes, guys. That's a big deal.
Well, that's what we see coming up this week. We will be back Saturday with our cut show, which we may be picking a whole bunch of different guys because maybe the weather turns. I don't know. But that's our picks based on what we know on the weather for the
I'm not getting up Friday. I'm not getting up till 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Get your rest. Get ready to go. Starts really early in the morning. You want to watch all the players. But we'll be back Saturday with our cut show. And who knows? We could be happy about our picks. We could be changing them all if the weather turns. So anyway, enjoy the British Open. If nothing else, it's exciting to watch. And unfortunately, they didn't get Wimbledon weather. It's just golf is cursed sometimes over there. It's because it's from history and it's always been portrayed as bad weather. Seems like it comes in. Wimbledon got 2 weeks of perfect weather, and now we're back to the European weather that's going to come through this week. Anyway, enjoy it. if you hate seeing how great these guys are and you want to see them scramble a little bit,
Yeah.
British Opens always want to make them look like me. So I get to watch guys hitting in the rough and can't get out and all that kind of stuff. So you can have enjoyment that way as well if your favorite player is not near the top. Enjoy. We'll see you Saturday morning.